when it comes right down to it, we're more alike than we are different. You know, we've talked a little bit about imposter syndrome, how much that's a part of sometimes our transitions that we're making. And it's that gut-wrenching feeling, that part that makes our stomach kind of clench up. Somebody's going to find out. Your secret will be out. Maybe you're not really who you say you are. Are you doing it right? Can they tell? And everyone's now going to know what you may not want them to know. I was an imposter in my own skin. The little 5-year-old me, captain of the all-boys club in my own backyard, commanding the street, standing on my green Schwinn Stingray bike, shirtless, balancing on the thick banana seat, hands outstretched. I'm the king of the world. But in this one moment, walking hand in hand with my mother, I was not commanding anything. I could feel my sweaty little hand walking the interminably long distance across the parking lot to the Golf Mart. Sticky black asphalt reflecting the 100-degree heat. Over and over in my head, should I tell her? What will happen if I do? Is this the right time? Oh my goodness. Well, unable to hold that uncomfortable tension in my little 5-year-old body anymore, I blurt out, Mama, I don't know how to tell you this, but God made a mistake and I'm supposed to be a boy. So once an imposter, with the smell of diesel and very little fresh air circulating and at least 25 people in line ahead of me, I'm sweating up a storm, just like now, likely looking quite suspicious, nervous that I might spill the tea and tell them the very thing that you shouldn't tell a government official who is standing guard to weed out anyone that might be carrying contraband onto the plane. Even though I'm now 45 years older than that little 5-year-old, with more than 5 years of testosterone under my belt, well, literally, I was still snapped back to that same gut-wrenching feeling, afraid they'll find me out. With all my attempts and devices, I used to be sure that my time through the airports will be efficient and safe in all the bathrooms. So a lot of anthropological study comes in here. So being a transgender person, I'm always hyper aware of my surroundings, and I've been careful and thorough anthropologically studying all things male. I want to completely pass as male, then I have to draw no attention, look, and act the same. So the bathroom is one of the most interesting habitats of all the male places to be. But thankfully, most men don't care as much about any of the things that I was worried about. But nonetheless, I learned how to use a special device that I can stand up and pee and look exactly like the others do when they go to the bathroom. So, speaking of special stand-to-pee devices in the TSA, I finally got my turn. I put my arms up, and I'm scanned in the big whirling scanner. And I immediately fixate on the bright yellow square over my crotch area, showing up on the Gumby-shaped outline of a person that's on the screen. Now, while I'm frozen and trying to figure out how I'm going to explain that, I notice that the worst part is the screen is actually turned in such a direction that all 45 people in line can see. all of them looking at that same yellow box that now the TSA agent is pointing to and yelling out loud, "Hey, what is this? Why is this here?" Now, I'm nearly 50 years old, and I'm reduced again to that 5-year-old tomboy. But this time, I'm not pretending. I'm not wishing or wanting. I'm a man trying to figure out desperately what is the right thing to say to this guy so that he'll know that I'm the same as he is. Now, I didn't realize the scanner was sensitive enough to pick up something that was skin-like but wasn't skin. But here outlined in the small box, in the huge yellow box, is my stand-to-pee device, carefully packed to produce a natural look and supposedly not to draw any strange questions like I'm getting right now. Hey, I'm happy to answer your question, but not here. Not in front of everyone in line. Can we just step over here and I will answer you? So quickly I'm ticking off in my head, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? I don't want to say I was packing anything in my pants because, bomb, right? So all the words I'm trying to think of are escaping me, It's my, what's that P word? Prophylactic. No, wait, that's the wrong one. It's my prosthetic. Yeah. Surely he would let me go without too much fanfare if I explained it's my prosthetic, because no guy wants to hear about that. So, still subject to the pat down, finally I was let go, and I cinch up my belt, and I put my wallet back in my pocket, slide my shoes back on my feet, and go about finding the gate. Now, I bring up this experience because here we are 15, almost 20 years later, and we are still debating and legislating bathroom behavior. I still have to deal with what's going to be like to enter a restroom. There are already 4 states where I would have to use the women's room when I'm in an official government or university building, or risk being arrested. Realistically, I don't know, wouldn't they still arrest a man in the women's room anyway? So either way, right? So will we all have to carry our birth certificates in order to enter the restroom? Or will we have a chip embedded maybe somewhere that we can scan under our skin? Or will there be jobs open for special genital inspectors? I don't know. We're all owed, obviously, the simple dignity and human right to safely go to the bathroom. And I gotta say, the older I get, the less time I have to hit that seat. So, with these big life changes and each new rite of passage, there are risks, right? There are risks to follow our calling. There may be violence or hatred from the ignorant. There may be the tendency to explain ourselves or justify our existence for our own human rights. But I still wouldn't have it any other way. It's not really bravery. It's just this path. This path is my path. So we were looking at the gifts, right? The outcomes, those final things that we get. For me, there's no choice. It's my calling. It's my purpose. It is who I am. My identity is nothing more than to live the life I came to live authentically in alignment with my source. And most days, I gotta say, I'm rooted and grounded and aligned with source. Living a life authentically means there's no room for that imposter. So I've stepped into these new paradigms, the conceptual shifts in the way that we as society and culturally define gender. What if by living my authentic truth, I have the incredible privilege to influence what it means to be male? To show a different perspective of the idea of masculinity. I believe I am one in a very long line of ancestry that carries the wisdom of the shaman, the spiritual ones that in so many indigenous cultures embody all genders. There's really no other way but to live our truth and our identity, making shifts in our consciousness. For me, it's to experience life as both female and male, fully integrated with spirit, integrated spiritual wholeness and well-being. So it's always about this conundrum, being fully spirit, source energy in these physical bodies, fully human and fully divine. We are the I am. We are the God is. We are creation and the creators of our own reality. I believe we're all being called to curiosity, to open our minds to the question of how we can move consciousness forward. We're the leading edge. We are the bodies and vibrating atoms consisting of all the elements, the stardust, the building blocks of our universe. So in that way, my friends, I dare say we are more alike than we are different.